Everybody sees the lights, the microphone, the confidence, the way you command a room. They see the strength, the fire, the results. They see the version of you that shows up polished and prepared, but what they don't see is what happens when the lights go off and the door closes. They don't see the habits you keep feeding, the conversations you keep avoiding, the wounds you keep covering with work. And listen to me closely. Winning in public while losing in private is the most dangerous kind of success there is. Because applause can lie to you, claps can make you think you're okay when you're not. Recognition can convince you that impact replaces integrity. You start believing that because people are being blessed, you don't need to be healed. You tell yourself, as long as I'm showing up, as long as I'm producing, as long as I'm helping somebody, it's all good. But it's not all good. You're exhausted, you're disconnected, you're frustrated, and deep down you know something is off. You can shout purpose on a platform and still be empty at home. You can motivate thousands and still be at war with yourself. And the scary part is this: you can keep doing it for a while. You can survive on adrenaline, validation, and momentum. But survival is not success. And sooner or later, what you refuse to face will start demanding your attention. See, strength on the stage doesn't mean strength in the soul. Power in public doesn't equal peace in private. And if you don't slow down and deal with the cracks, you'll keep building higher on a weaker foundation. That pressure adds up. That double life weighs heavy, and eventually you won't just feel tired. You'll feel fake. Not because you don't care, but because you never gave yourself permission to heal. This is where real courage shows up. Not when you're leading others, but when you're honest with yourself, when you admit, I'm strong out there, but I'm struggling in here. When you stop hiding behind productivity and start addressing the pain. When you realize that the work you do for the world cannot replace the work you must do within. You don't need a bigger platform right now. You need a deeper foundation. You don't need louder applause. You need quieter moments of truth. Because the goal isn't just to look powerful, it's to be whole. And the moment you decide to fix what's broken in private is the moment your public strength finally becomes real. You can keep showing up and people will keep calling you gifted. They'll keep saying you're anointed, talented, chosen. Doors will keep opening. Opportunities will keep coming. And on the outside it looks like you're winning. But hear this clearly, your gift was never designed to carry the weight of your broken character. It can't keep covering what you refuse to confront. And the longer you rely on talent to hide pain, the heavier that burden becomes. See, gifts are loud, but character is patient. Gifts get attention fast, but character is what sustains you when the excitement fades. When you keep investing in what you do and neglecting who you are, you create an imbalance. You polish the performance but ignore the person. You rehearse the message but avoid the mirror. And that avoidance slowly turns into excuses, and those excuses turn into patterns that control you. You start telling yourself it's not that serious. You say, I'll deal with it later, after this season, after this project, after this breakthrough. But later keeps getting postponed and the broken areas keep getting stronger. What you don't heal, you manage. What you don't confront, you justify. And what you justify eventually becomes normal even when it's destroying you. The truth is, your gift will keep working even when you're not well. That's what makes it dangerous. People will still be inspired while you're silently falling apart. But don't confuse impact with approval. Just because it works doesn't mean it's right. Just because people are clapping doesn't mean your soul is healthy. Your gift can open the door, but it will never fix what's broken once you walk through it. Character doesn't grow in crowds. It grows in isolation. It grows when you choose discipline over convenience, truth over comfort, and healing over image. And if you don't make that choice, your success will start costing you more than it's worth. You'll lose peace trying to maintain perception. You'll lose joy trying to protect a reputation. And you'll wonder why everything is working except you. This is the moment you stop hiding behind what you're good at and start building who you're called to be. Because the gift can introduce you to the world, but only character can keep you standing when the world turns its back. You think you've got it under control. You tell yourself it's contained, that it's private, that it won't spill over. You say, as long as I handle my responsibilities, as long as I show up strong, this won't touch my public life. But listen, brokenness doesn't stay in the shadows forever. What you ignore in private is only getting stronger, and sooner or later it will demand a spotlight of its own. Every compromise leaves a mark. Every avoided conversation weakens you. Every night you choose comfort over correction, you're training yourself to live divided. And division always leads to collapse. Not all at once, not loudly at first, but slowly. Your decisions get heavier. Your clarity gets cloudy. Your passion turns into pressure. And people start noticing something's off, even if they can't explain it. Nobody falls publicly by accident. The collapse you see on the outside is just the final chapter of a story that's been written in private for years. It's the ignored warning signs, the unchecked habits, the secret exhaustion. It's the moment when the weight of pretending becomes heavier than the fear of being exposed. And by then, the damage doesn't just affect you. It hits your family, your credibility, your calling. You can only suppress truth for so long before it interrupts you. It shows up in your tone, in your temper, in your decisions, in the way you lead. You start reacting instead of responding. You start protecting yourself instead of serving others. And the very thing you were called to build begins to suffer because you never stopped to repair the foundation. This isn't about condemnation, it's about awareness. This is the warning before the crash. You still have time to pause, to step back, to deal with what you've been avoiding. Healing in private is always cheaper than repair in public. Humility behind closed doors will save you from humiliation on a stage. Don't wait for a breakdown to force a breakthrough. Choose to confront the hidden cracks now. Because the strongest leaders aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who refuse to let private compromise destroy public purpose. Real ministry doesn't begin when the crowd shows up. It begins when the room is quiet and nobody's clapping. When there's no microphone, no validation, no pressure to perform, that's where alignment is built. That's where strength is forged, because if you can't be disciplined in private, you'll eventually be exposed in public. Before you try to save everybody else, you've got to stop neglecting yourself. Before you pour out, you've got to be filled up the right way. You can't keep leading from empty and calling it sacrifice. That's not faith, that's avoidance. Real growth happens when you fix your habits, your thought patterns, your integrity, your prayer life, your consistency when nobody is watching. This is where sustainability is born. Not in hype, not in moments, not in viral success, but in daily obedience. In choosing truth over image, in choosing healing over hiding, in choosing discipline over convenience. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be honest, because honesty is the doorway to transformation. When your private life is aligned, your public ministry changes. You speak with authority because you live it. You lead with confidence because you're not divided. You move with peace because you're not afraid of being exposed. There's power in knowing that who you are alone matches who you are in front of people. This is the shift from performance to purpose, from exhaustion to endurance, from image to integrity. Fix the root and the fruit will follow. Build in private and you won't have to pretend in public. Because when your life behind closed doors is strong, your ministry won't just grow, it will last.